Probably heard Tom Brady has retired from football. This has left the Buccaneers in quite the pickle when it comes to quarterback because the only two quarterbacks that they have on their roster currently are Blaine Gabbert, who is supposed to be an unrestricted free agent, and Kyle Trask. Now, in my opinion, I think Trask is probably one of the more likely options that they're going to take, see what he can do, etc. I have not seen enough of his play to discredit or give him enough credit. So I have compiled a list of the top 5 quarterbacks that I think are likely to replace Tom Brady in Tampa. Some of them are unlikely. Some of them could be from free agency. Some of them could be through trade, etc. But we're going to get right into it, though. So if you guys do enjoy this video and you want to see some more like it, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And with that said, let's get right into it. Number 5, which I think is very, very unlikely, would be for free agency. It'd be Jameis Winston. Winston obviously already had a tenure in Tampa, and he didn't do necessarily terrible, but he is well known for his infamy rather than his play on the field. He is notorious for his turnovers. He threw 91 interceptions, which has been the most since he entered the league back in 2015. He has a 61% completion, which is pretty average for his career. 21,000 total yards, though, which is 13th since he entered the league. He is 6th in fumbles and fumbles lost since he entered the league as well. But he is also 13th amongst quarterbacks in rushing yards. Now, this year in New Orleans, he looked very good. A year under Drew Brees really did Winston well. Now, I do not think this is very likely. I don't think he is going to Tampa if he does go. And honestly, I think he's going back to New Orleans. But Winston, I would not necessarily rule him out. I would say he's more of a dark horse in this. Number 4 is Marcus Mariota. Now, Mariota as a quarterback did not have anything spectacular throughout his career. About 13,000 yards, 77 touchdowns, 45 picks, about a 63% completion percentage, but he's 8th among quarterbacks in rushing yards since he entered the league back in 2015. He is tied for 11th since 2015 in quarterback rushing touchdowns. I think he has a lot of potential, a lot of talent. I think it could be very low risk, high reward, like a lot of the players on this list. It is definitely a realistic possibility that these guys will have starting jobs next year due to how weak the quarterback draft class is this year. Number 3 would be Mitchell Trubisky, my boy. Trubisky has been scrutinized ever since he entered the NFL because he was drafted before Patrick Mahomes, before Deshaun Watson. But he's not a rapist, so that's a dub. 64% completion for his career, almost 11,000 yards, 64 touchdowns, 38 picks. But he is 12th among quarterbacks in rushing yards. He is tied 13th among quarterbacks in touchdowns since he entered the league. Honestly, this is the one I would do. If they didn't do number 2 or number 1, I would say they should do this one personally. I think it's very low risk, high reward, same as Mariota. Him and Trubisky have a similar skill set. I really do think Trubisky was stunted in Chicago. After spending a year behind a top 5 quarterback in Josh Allen, learning from him a little bit, I think Trubisky will for sure be a starter next year. And I would love to see him in Tampa. I think that'd be fun to see. Number 2 would be Russell Wilson. Now, Russell Wilson has been one of the best quarterbacks in football since he entered the league back in 2012. Since that time, he is tied for 10th in completion percentage. He has the 8th most passing yards, 3rd most touchdowns, and the 4th best passer rating. He has rushed for the 2nd most yards among a quarterback since 2012. He is 5th in that time in touchdowns, but he does have the most fumbles among quarterbacks since 2012. Russell Wilson, I think, is definitely out of Seattle this year. At least I hope he is, because I really don't see that team with Pete Carroll doing anything. He's cool either way. I think personally he is going to an AFC team, but I definitely could see Russell Wilson here, and I think it'd be a great fit. Now, number 1, I don't feel is very realistic, but I do feel like it would be the best option if they were somehow able to do it. Number 1 would be Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers, I don't really need to go through his stats, but I'm going to anyways. He's been a consistent starter in the NFL since 2010, and in that time, he is 6th in completion percentage. He is 6th in passing yard. He has the 2nd most touchdowns in that span, only behind Tom Brady, ironically. He has the best passer rating since 2010, and among quarterbacks, he is 4th in rushing. He was tied 3rd in rushing touchdowns. This would obviously have to be done through a trade, I feel like. I feel like Tampa would have to give up a pretty key piece, maybe some picks. If they are in win now mode, they should definitely do it. But also another thing, Green Bay's not looking to trade Aaron Rodgers to another NFC team, so I do not think this is very likely, but it would be an interesting move in my opinion. I think Rodgers would have a lot more help in Tampa than he does in Green Bay. And don't get me wrong, in Green Bay he has a lot of help. Devontae Adams, MVS, Allen Lazard, Aaron Jones if you want to go there, even Robert Tonyan. In Tampa, it's just so loaded. You have Fournette, you have Godwin, you have Mike Evans, you have Cameron Brate, you have Scotty Miller, etc. There is a lot of talent in Tampa still, even though Tom Brady's out, and I feel like Rodgers would mesh well with that team. those are my top 5 QBs to replace Brady. Let me know what you guys think about the list down in the comments. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel once again if you haven't already. That's it from me, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.